Boomers have this allergy to trauma. Not me. That didn't happen to me. Like, oh, I'm strong and blah, blah, blah. Buck up and get over it.
Mm-hmm.
And then this Gen Z, group is like, I sneezed. Oh my gosh, I have a trauma.
Yeah.
I can't go to school for a month.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So it
so
kind of
true.
depends on not only what happened to you, what type happened to you, where you fall in the cultural range of our society.
Welcome to Paradox, hosted by Dr. Sherry Ross, leading OBGYN, and Dr. Tammy Nelson, world-renowned sex therapist. Two experts, zero filters, whole truth.
Today's guest is renowned psychiatrist, trauma expert, author, and internal family systems thought leader, Dr. Frank Anderson. He is known for making complex emotional systems understandable and deeply human. He's been featured everywhere, the New York Times, Scoop, Psychology Today. He is well versed in helping individuals and couples heal from trauma by understanding really what's going on inside. We're going to explore how the body holds on to the secrets of hidden trauma, and we're going to talk about Frank's personal memoir, To Be Loved, a story of truth, trauma, and transformation, which you should all have. Welcome, Dr. Frank Anderson.
Thank you so much. Wow, that was quite an introduction.
I know, can you live
I'm
up
like,
to that?
I can't wait to hear what that guy has to say.
Yeah, I know. We're going to learn a lot today, Frank.
Well, you do have a lot to say.
I guess I do.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
And it's not just, verbiage. You really do have things to say that people can connect with. And you have been through a lot. Your book, To Be Loved, a story of truth, trauma, and transformation, is your own intimate struggle with trauma and how you've grown up to be who you are. The expert and the psychiatrist and the therapist and the speaker and the author. Yeah.
It's really interesting. I did not realize, if I look back at my story, my journey started by experiencing it. And then I dove in because of the intellect as my main protective mechanism. I dove in to become the expert in it. And now there's this reversal happening. So now with the memoir being released, I go back to my origin story. But then I am putting together holy cow, in the midst of all of this, I learned a lot about trauma. So it's a really interesting trajectory, as everybody's life is, I would say. And I'm excited to bring it to the world in a different way now. That's really my mission and my passion. So it's great to be here, and let's see what we can kind of uncover together. Because there's yes, I have a lot of knowledge and experience, but that's also happening in this room together with the three of us.
I mean, trauma is such a
combo.
Yeah, I mean, trauma is a very complex word. I mean, how do you define trauma?
This is a question I get asked all the time, and people answer it differently all the time. I put a differentiation in what happens to you, what your body does with it, what your mind perceives of it, and then how you react to it. So it's complex. People throw around the word trauma like they throw around the word flashback, PTSD, dissociation. PTSD is a reaction to what happened to you. It's not trauma, right? And so it's kind of what you endure and then all the effects of that, because people go through very different things and we can't compare it, right? One person was bullied on the playground and they shoot guns for a living, like my brother. Another guy is bullied at home and he becomes a trauma expert, right? Every person does something different with it. So how it's perceived, what you do with it, what are your reactions in response to it, is why it's such a complicated word. Why people I have a trauma history, right? The other thing I'll say, two other things I'll say, there's so many different types of trauma. I used to, my book, Transcending Trauma, my second book, had a list of 6 different traumas. Now there's 8 or 11 different traumas. The more we learn, the more we expand the definition of trauma, systemic, cultural, you know, religious,
Generational,
generational,
historical, yeah.
global, right? There's so many different types of trauma.
Political.
Political, yeah. You can't. Gender, orientation,
Mm-hmm.
you can't put it into one category anymore, right? So there's so many different types. There's many different reactions to it. So it's really much more complicated than people think. So, and the last thing I'll say about it is the word trauma is a buzzword depending on what generation you're in also.
That's so true.
Right?
Yeah.
I happen to be, and this pisses me off, but my sons tell me I'm a boomer. I'm like in the last 1 or 2
You're
years
like
of
the
a
last of the boomers.
I'm like the last of the
Yeah.
boomers, but it still
Yeah.
pisses me off that I'm a boomer.
Why?
Right?
Yeah.
Because my parents were boomers. I was like, I talked about them the way my kids are talking about me, right?
Yeah.
But my point around the boomer thing is boomers have this allergy to trauma. Not me. That didn't happen to me. Like, oh, I'm strong and blah, blah, blah. Buck up and get over it. And then this Gen Z, group is like, I sneezed. Oh my gosh, I have a trauma.
Yeah.
I can't go to school for a month. Do you know what I mean? So it
It's so
kind of
cute.
depends on not only what happened to you, what type happened to you, where you fall in the cultural range of our society, and what age. Millennials have a very different reaction to it. So it's so complicated.
Yeah.
No, you can't answer it in one sentence, as I clearly didn't.
Well, but that's good because you're opening it up
Yes.
to a narrative, which is really
Yeah.
what trauma is, like
Yeah.
the narrative that you create about what happens to you. You and I could both have the same experience, and one of us could be traumatized by it, and the other one could be like,
The word I use more commonly is, have you had an overwhelming life experience? And then everybody's like, oh, yeah. And then they tell me about their trauma.
Yeah.
So regardless of where you fall or what happened to you, have you had an overwhelming life experience? I don't know anybody who hasn't.
Right.
So that's where we kind of have more common language.
Are you saying everyone's had trauma?
Yes, I am.
You heard it
That's
here.
okay.
You heard
And
it
that's
here.
okay.
I really feel that way, and I know some people have a hard time with that, and that is okay. I don't want to dilute it
Right.
by overgeneralizing,
Right.
but I also don't want to minimize it by downplaying the significance for people. So that's where I've landed with overwhelming life experience, and then everybody's like, I'm in. Yeah, and let me tell you about it.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about your book for people that haven't heard your life story or people that don't know how you got here?
Yeah, sure. This was a shocker for me, honestly.
Your own life story?
Well, somebody's saying write a memoir.
Mhm.
Like, I never thought of myself as an author.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm a teacher. I know I'm smart, right? I love speaking in front of people. I never thought of myself as an author. And now I'm like working on my 4th book, which is insane to me. When I was writing the 3rd book, my memoir, I'm like, okay, maybe you're a writer. I love it. I love the process. But it was surprising to me because as an academic and being a scientific and doing research, all those things that I spent 20 or 30 years doing, I was in the science world more so, right? I'm a good bridge. I can translate the information, but writing a memoir was a totally different experience.
Much different than writing a
And what
science book.
inspired you, though, to do the memoir?
It's a weird story. So I met with my publisher then at the time, a month after my 2nd book was released. And I was like, they're going to talk to me about how the sales are going, blah, 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 blah. I had a dream the night before, which was very bizarre. And what happened in this dream was the moments that made me, the moments that made me. And I was just repetitive all night long. I was like, I don't know what the hell that's about. So I get on this Zoom call. And the first thing they say is, we think you should write a memoir. And I'm like, well, I have the title. Because all night long, I've been hearing the moments that made me. It was really bizarre. So I didn't know where that came from. And I'm like, why me? What are you talking about? I'm like, Frank, you talk a lot. And you always talk about your trauma history. Like, hello, you're the perfect fit for that. And I was like, oh, okay. Kind of that makes sense. Because I do, if I'm up on a stage, I'm like, hi, my name is Frank Anderson. I'm gay. I have a trauma history. Nice to meet you. That's kind of who I am. Right. And so it kind of made sense to me, oh, but I'm like, but I'm an average person. Who wants to hear my life? Right? What do I didn't Nobel Peace Prize? I don't have any great thing to tell, no great story to tell, right? So I was kind of thought it was weird. And then I started collecting my moments.
Mm.
And that's what I did. I just started collecting moments. I just wrote moments. And I was like, wow, your life is more interesting than you thought it was. And the other thing that was so cool, that book was guided. I'll say that 100%. Like I was not the only author in that book, separate from my editors. It came from another place for sure. I instantly knew the opening line is going to be, "You're not going to school today, Frankie." Like I just knew, like it was like, boom, because that's how a big portion of my life started was, oh, I could just feel this. And this sucks that this is so what it is. Like,
Visceral, yeah.
yeah,
It's still there.
it's crazy, but it's true.
I'm
Like,
about to cry. I don't even know why.
I was like, I got caught playing with a Barbie doll in my cousin's basement. And I was just like a curious kid. And honestly, it was like the Barbie playhouse had like a toilet and a little bed. And it was like kind of cool, all the little miniature stuff. But boy, that was the first time I felt shame. Like, it's like, Frankie, don't play. What are you doing in there? Like I got yelled at.
How old were you?
6
6.
years old. And it was in the back of it was like, I on some level, I went behind in the, like where the stored toys were, like not in the regular play area. I went behind and I was sneaking to play
You felt
with this.
shame.
I, on some level, I didn't even know, but yes, I did, right? I was like, you've got to do this in secret.
A part of you knew.
Because some part of me know that it's not what boys are supposed to do. This is not okay. But I had this natural curiosity. But when I got yelled at, and to tell you the truth, I think it was one of my aunts. It wasn't even my mother. It was an aunt that yelled at me. It was, I think her house. She's a lovely person, but if Auntie Francine heard, she's passed. If she knows the impact she had on me.
Maybe she's helping you channel the book.
Well, I'll tell you, it was right there. It was boom. And that was, my parents sent me to conversion therapy. Basically, at the time, that's what it was, because it was a disorder to be gay. My uncle was a doctor named Frank. I was named after him. And they're like, what do we do? Frankie's playing with Barbie dolls. And he's like, we got to fix him. We want him to have a good life. Right? So that's what it was. And so they sent me to the psychiatrist. I was like, I got caught playing with a Barbie doll in my cousin's basement. And I was just like a curious kid. And honestly, it was like the Barbie playhouse had like a toilet and a little bed. And it was like kind of cool, all the little miniature stuff. But boy, that was the first time I felt shame. Like, it's like, Frankie, don't play. What are you doing in there? Like I got yelled at.
How old were you?
6
6.
years old. And it was in the back of it was like, I on some level, I went behind in the, like where the stored toys were, like not in the regular play area. I went behind and I was sneaking to play.
You felt
with
shame.
on some level, I didn't even know, but yes, I did, right? I was like, you've got to do this in secret.
A part of you knew.
Because some part of me know that it's not what boys are supposed to do. This is not okay. But I had this natural curiosity. But when I got yelled at, and to tell you the truth, I think it was one of my aunts. It wasn't even my mother. It was an aunt that yelled at me. It was, I think her house. She's a lovely person, but if Auntie Francine heard, she's passed. If she knows the impact she had on me.
Maybe she's helping you channel the book.
Well, I'll tell you, it was right there. It was boom. And that was, my parents sent me to conversion therapy. Basically, at the time, that's what it was, because it was a disorder to be gay. My uncle was a doctor named Frank. I was named after him. And they're like, what do we do? Frankie's playing with Barbie dolls. And he's like, we got to fix him. We want him to have a good life. Right? So that's what it was. And so they sent me to the psychiatrist. Oh my God, I don't know why I'm so emotional today.
Because you're with us.
Maybe that's it.
Safe.
Wow. I was in therapy for first grade to 6th grade. Every week, Tuesday nights. And I have 2 memories of the whole time. One was drawing a picture of my family. and the other was playing with toys, but boy toys, not girl toys.
Mhm.
You couldn't play with the girl toys. There were two different dressers, right? Don't play with that. No, I opened the drawers and I'm like, look at the colors, look at the arts and crafts. No, army men, battleship. So I was really brainwashed and programmed to be the boy, the right boy, right? So from a very early age, I knew I was wrong, and I knew that I had to be something else in order to be loved. This is the book title became To Be Loved because my whole life has been organized around being loved. My whole life, like every decision, every decision in my life has been around that to be loved because I knew I was wrong and I wasn't loved. I knew it, right? So, yeah, that's how my journey started. And it's a wild ride from there. Marrying a woman and oh God, having sex with a woman. I'm sorry, ladies. That was so.
You're not insulting our vaginas.
No.
We understand.
Oh my God, because here's the thing. Like we could talk about vaginas all day long if you want. But for me, they are so gross. I used to have memories of being swallowed up by vagina because my mom was so unboundaried and inappropriate.
Oh.
I would have nightmares of being just swallowed up as a little kid by this big vagina. Like I didn't know, I thought it was like a big animal, like this big scary monster. So like
That's terrible.
it was awful. It was
Yeah.
really crazy because there was the overexposure because my mom was desperate to have a intimate mate because my father was like violent and aggressive and all the things that kind of go together in that pair, as we know. So my dad, I was her emotional support animal, so to speak, and so she needed me so desperately. So yeah, I had these like gross vagina and I saw way too much of her all the time. All the time.
Just her, but not her
Her
vagina.
Oh yeah, oh my God.
Oh,
yes.
her vagina.
whole body. All the time.
That's kind of traumatic for a little kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this I didn't write about in the memoir because I didn't want to hurt her. I wrote that memoir, Truth with Love. That's what I kept writing, Truth with Love. But I was in the bathroom with her constantly, helping her fix her hair, put her clothes on, bathe her, all the things that was just way too much for a 6-year-old little boy who was confused as hell about who he was anyways. Oh my God. Yeah,
No boundaries there.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah. I mean, the good news is I've been in therapy my whole life and I have a really good life now.
And now you're with a husband.
And now I'm with a husband.
How long have you been? I mean, when was that transition?
Yes, 32 years old is when I divorced my wife. I was like, I can't do this anymore. It's interesting because I was still under the brainwashed kind of thing. I, did what I used to watch my uncles like do that. Like that's what men do. Like I remember watching my uncles, their mannerisms, like how they acted. I was like, that you're supposed to be like Uncle Jerry. Supposed to be like Uncle Bob. So I married a woman and I was like, it was so interesting. My sons have asked me, my oldest, so like you're bisexual, huh, Papa? Because you had sex, you married a woman, you had sex with what?
Did you have kids with your wife?
No.
Okay.
She was a pediatrician and I wouldn't have kids with her. Like on some level, I knew something not right here.
Did she know that you were
so
gay?
fascinating? I mean, we can have a whole episode around women who marry gay men, okay, or vice versa, because I mean, I will take responsibility for being so disconnected and shut down, closing my eyes, not seeing her vagina and marrying her and have sex with her. Like that's my bad, right? But she was just as shut down and disconnected.
Sure.
You don't marry somebody who's shut down and disconnected unless you also are for your own reasons.
Well, it served her on some level.
100%.
For whatever reason.
100%. She when she was, my sisters told me this when she was walking down the aisle. They said, Frankie, she was like a Stepford wife. She wasn't even there, and all she kept saying is, "I can't believe he's marrying me." I can't
Aw.
believe he's marrying me. Like
Aw.
she was so disconnected from herself and
Mhm.
attached to me for all the reasons that were about her. And
Mhm.
I'm not here to trash anybody who does
Mhm.
that. Like we're
Mhm.
all working it out and figuring it out. I
Mhm.
certainly did, and so did she. I'm
Mhm.
grateful that she's happily married. She's got a husband and kids now,
Oh,
and I'm
good.
grateful. I'm really grateful for that.
It's sad that it took you till 32 to find that part
I
of you.
think it was the brainwashing. I grew up in. You think?
They did a good
You think
job.
they did a great job,
And you were a good brainwashee.
I'm such a good
He's a good
student.
student. Yeah.
I
student.
know. I learn fast.
You follow the rules.
I follow the rules
Yeah,
and
you
I
were
learn
good.
fast.
You were
That's
a good
exactly
boy.
right. Yeah, I did. It's interesting because I'll tell you, since this is like sex trauma podcast, I'm like, okay, let's go. Unfiltered. Here I am.
Unfiltered, whole truth.
Because so we were chemistry majors together in college, and we met, and we were both super smart, and we became friends first, and then started dating. We were studying. You'll know this, Dr. Sherry, the Krebs cycle.
Oh,
We
yeah.
were in biochemistry. Do you know the Krebs cycle? Yeah.
Not like you guys do. but
Okay.
yeah.
We were
Yeah.
we had to memorize the Krebs cycle.
Yeah, of
So you had to know
course.
every single step, every enzyme, all the stuff. So we were studying the Krebs cycle.
Tell our listeners what that is.
Krebs cycle is the energy system that we use to break down glucose to produce energy that kind of gives us energy in our cell. This is how we live as humans.
It's very cellular MD stuff. for
Yeah,
people.
And you never use it again.
No.
You don't use
It's
it.
kind of like trigonometry.
Yeah, that's like a lot of the medical school.
Oh my God.
classes.
And such a waste of time, but we needed to memorize
Yeah,
it and
right.
know every single step. It's how energy is utilized. So we were sitting in this building in college at the University of Illinois, and it was like 1:00 in the morning or something like this. And I'm like, I've got to go to the bathroom. I got to take a break. She's like, okay, fine. I'll call my sister. So I go to the bathroom to take a break, and I don't fucking know what's going on. Excuse me. And there's a guy in the stall next to me masturbating. Okay. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, do you like it? And I freaked out. It was like the first time I saw anything like that. I'm in the Midwest, conservative area. So this guy's like cruising in a bathroom,
Wow.
1:00 in the morning. And I freaked out. I came back to see my then girlfriend, and I sat in the chair. I'm like, okay, let's continue. And I had a spontaneous orgasm.
Oh,
I fucking
during the Krebs cycle.
came in my pants, and I was so embarrassed. And I was so freaked out. I'm like, we got to go. She's like, what's wrong? I'm like, we got to go. I got to go home. I felt so bad. And it was like this eruption of this repressed life that kind of popped out. And then I just pushed it aside. I'm like, I know how to push it away.
It literally popped out.
Literally popped out. And I just was like, no, not
Shoved it back in.
Shoved it back in.
Wow.
Shoved it back in.
That takes a lot of energy, and it's almost ironic that you were studying the energy cycle of the body.
Right?
That's right.
Well, I was having my own volcanic eruption. It was crazy. And listen to this. With the trauma history, oh my God, I don't know why I'm so emotional today.
Because you're with us.
Maybe that's it.
Safe.
Wow. I was in therapy for first grade to sixth grade every week, Tuesday nights. And I have two memories of the whole time. One was drawing a picture of my family, and the other was playing with toys, but boy toys, not girl toys. You couldn't play with the girl toys. There were two different dressers, right? Don't play with that. No, I opened the drawers, and I'm like, look at the colors. Look at the arts and crafts. No, Army men, battleship. So I was really brainwashed and programmed to be the boy, the right boy, right? So from a very early age, I knew I was wrong, and I knew that I had to be something else in order to be loved. This is the book title became To Be Loved, because my whole life has been organized around being loved. My whole life, like every decision, every decision in my life has been around that, to be loved, because I knew I was wrong and I wasn't loved. I knew it, right? So, yeah, that's how my journey started, and it's a wild ride from there. Marrying a woman and oh God, having sex with a woman. I'm sorry, ladies. That was so.
You're not insulting our vaginas.
No.
We understand.
Oh my God, because here's the thing. Like we could talk about vaginas all day long if you want. But for me, they are so gross. I used to have memories of being swallowed up by vagina because my mom was so unboundaried and inappropriate.
Oh.
I would have nightmares of being just swallowed up as a little kid by this big vagina. Like I thought it was like a big animal, like this big scary monster. So like
That's terrible.
it was awful. It was
Yeah.
really crazy because there was the overexposure because my mom was desperate to have a intimate mate because my father was like violent and aggressive and all the things that kind of go together in that pair, as we know. So my dad, I was her emotional support animal, so to speak, and so she needed me so desperately. So yeah, I had these like gross vagina. And I saw way too much of her all the time. All the time.
Just her, but not her
Her
vagina.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Yes.
Oh, her vagina.
whole body. All the time.
That's kind of traumatic for a little kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, this I didn't write about in the memoir because I didn't want to hurt her. I wrote that memoir, Truth with Love. That's what I kept writing, Truth with Love. But I was in the bathroom with her constantly, helping her fix her hair, put her clothes on, bathe her, all the things that was just way too much for a 6-year-old little boy who was confused as hell about who he was anyways. Oh my God. Yeah.
No boundaries there.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah. I mean, the good news is I've been in therapy my whole life and I have a really good life now.
And now you're with a husband.
And now I'm with a husband.
How long have you been? I mean, when was that transition?
Yes, 32 years old is when I divorced my wife. I was like, I can't do this anymore. It's interesting because I was still under the brainwashed kind of thing. I did what I used to watch my uncles like do that. Like that's what men do. Like I remember watching my uncles, their mannerisms, like how they acted as like that. You're supposed to be like Uncle Jerry. Supposed to be like Uncle Bob. So I married a woman and I was like, it was so interesting. My sons have asked me, my oldest, so like you're bisexual, huh, Papa? Because you had sex, you married a woman, you had sex with what?
Did you have kids with your wife?
No.
Okay.
She was a pediatrician and I wouldn't have kids with her. Like on some level, I knew something not right here.
Did she know that you were
so
gay?
fascinating? I mean, we can have a whole episode around women who marry gay men, okay, or vice versa, because I mean, I will take responsibility for being so disconnected and shut down, closing my eyes, not seeing her vagina and marrying her and have sex with her. Like that's my bad, right? But she was just as shut down and disconnected.
Sure.
You don't marry somebody who's shut down and disconnected unless you also are for your own reasons.
Well, it served her on some level.
100%.
For whatever reason.
100%. She when she was, my sisters told me this, when she was walking down the aisle, they said, Frankie, she was like a Stepford wife. She wasn't even there. And all she kept saying is, I can't believe he's marrying me. I can't believe he's marrying me. Like she was so disconnected from herself and attached to me for all the reasons that were about her. And I'm not here to trash anybody who does that. Like we're all working it out and figuring it out. I certainly did, and so did she. I'm grateful that she's happily married. She's got a husband and kids now, and I'm really grateful for that.
It's sad that it took you till 32 to find that part of
I
you.
think it was the brainwashing. I grew up in. You think
They did a good job.
they did a great job,
and you were a good brainwashee.
I'm such a good
He's
student.
a good student. Yeah.
I know. I learn fast.
You follow the rules.
I follow the rules
Yeah,
and I
you were
learn
good.
fast.
You were
That's
a good
exactly
boy.
right. Yeah, I did. It's interesting because I'll tell you, since this is like sex trauma podcast. I'm like, okay, let's go. Unfiltered. Here I am.
Unfiltered, whole truth.
Because so we were chemistry majors together in college, and we met, and we were both super smart, and we became friends first, and then, started dating. And, oh my God. We were studying, you'll know this, Dr. Sherry, the Krebs cycle.
Oh,
we
yeah.
were in biochemistry. Do you know the Krebs cycle? Yeah.
Not like you guys do.
Okay.
But yeah.
We were
Yeah.
we had to memorize the Krebs cycle.
Yeah, of
So you had to know
course.
every single step, every enzyme, all the stuff. So we were studying the Krebs cycle.
Tell our listeners what that is.
Krebs cycle is the energy system that we use to break down glucose to produce energy that kind of gives us energy in our cell. This is how we live as humans.
It's very cellular MD stuff. for
Yeah.
people.
And you never use it again.
no.
You don't use
No,
it.
I don't like trigonometry.
Yeah, that's like a lot of the medical school.
Oh my God.
classes.
And such a waste of time, but we needed to memorize
Yeah,
it and
right.
know every single step. It's how energy is utilized. So we were sitting in this building in college at the University of Illinois, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning or something like this. And I'm like, I've got to go to the bathroom. I got to take a break. She's like, okay, fine. I'll call my sister. So I go to the bathroom to take a break, and I don't even fucking know what's going on. Excuse me. And there's a guy in the stall next to me masturbating. Okay. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, do you like it? And I freaked out. It was like the first time I saw anything like that. I'm in the Midwest, conservative area. So this guy's like cruising in a bathroom,
Wow.
1 o'clock in the morning. And I freaked out. I came back to see my then girlfriend, and I sat in the chair. I'm like, okay, let's continue. And I had a spontaneous orgasm.
Oh,
I fucking
during the Krebs cycle.
came in my pants, and I was so embarrassed. And I was so freaked out. I'm like, we got to go. She's like, what's wrong? I'm like, we got to go. I got to go home. I felt so bad. And it was like this eruption of this repressed life that kind of popped out. And then I just pushed it aside. I'm like, I know how to push it away.
It literally popped out.
Literally popped out. And I just was like, no, not.
Shoved it back in.
Shoved it back in.
Wow.
Shoved it back in.
That takes a lot of energy, and it's almost ironic that you were studying the energy cycle of the body.
Right?
That's right. Some
Well, I
irony.
was having my own volcanic eruption. It was crazy. And listen to this. With the trauma history, I never had a wet dream. I never fantasized because it wasn't safe to fantasize with trauma. When you're physically and emotionally abused, your fantasy is an extra pleasure that is not allowed for trauma survivors.
Well, it's an escape, and you couldn't escape.
I was no way to escape. So I never fantasized, never had a wet dream, none of that stuff. So to have this thing happen to my body, it was so shocking for me.
Wow.
I have never talked about this,
Well,
folks. I have never
thank
talked
you.
about this.
Well, I'm just curious. So
Thank you. The body
like
really, your body really knew more than your head was letting you know.
100%.
Wow.
But did you ever want to go back to that bathroom at that time of
No,
night?
I was like bad, wrong, horrible.
Run.
You
Run,
you
get
are bad
away.
and wrong. You are bad and wrong. Got an A in organic chemistry.
Of course, you aced the Krebs cycle.
Ace the
sure.
Krebs cycle. And then we got into medical school. We went to the same medical school.
Which is Harvard.
And we got I got married.
Wow. So this says a lot about your resilience, your ability to pivot, and your survival skills. One,
Yes.
compartmentalize.
Yes.
Shove it down, ignore.
Yes.
Two, study, be
Yes.
really smart as you can. Just focus on
100%.
your brain
Yep.
and your prefrontal cortex, and just like think.
Yes. 100%.
And just deny.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Welcome to my world. That's what I did.
You dove into the vagina.
That's what I did. I dove into the vagina. I was
all
like,
in.
close your eyes. You can do this. And it was so funny.
Give me my mask, my goggles.
Close your eyes. You can do this. And it was weird. It was like, well, this kind of feels physically good. I could do this. But I didn't even know what, I didn't, that's what I thought love was and sex. That's, what do you know?
Well,
that
you
other
were going
thing.
in the right drawer that you were taught to go in. This is the drawer
This
you're
is
supposed
the
to
drawer
be.
you're supposed to
These
go
are the
in.
toys you're supposed to play with.
This is exactly right, Tammy. That's exactly right. I did it, and I'm a good student, and I was able to do it, So I did that. We were married for, 6 6 or 8 years.
And then when was the moment at 32?
Yeah, so we were married for 6 or 8 years, and I'm going to tell you this. So this is just to say the other side of the story. 2 weeks before our wedding, she tells me, I have to tell you this before we get married. I've been vomiting for the last 2 years.
That's right. I read that in your book.
Right. I have she's got this eating disorder because of all of her
So
stuff.
she wasn't pregnant.
She wasn't pregnant.
That's what I thought.
Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah, of course.
But
no,
you didn't have premarital sex, or did you?
We took, oh my God, that was a whole other story.
That's another episode, right?
That's another episode.
How do you have sex with a vagina when you're actually gay?
Yes.
Episode 39.
It's so perfunctory. Like my brother and his now wife, girlfriend, had sex in our apartment before we did. We were living together for 2 years. And I'm like, we can't do this. It's going to destroy our careers. Wow. That's why I just was controlling it and putting it off as long as possible.
Wow.
I did. I was like, oh. And then when I decided to ask her to marry me, I'm like, okay, I guess we have to have sex now. This has to happen. We went to the Osco drugstore, got our condoms, and did the deed. And I was like, this is what this thing is about? Like, this is all the hype? Like,
so you weren't masturbating or anything?
I was masturbating. That was much more fun.
But were you weren't thinking of men, or were you?
That's a great question.
And you don't have to answer it.
Well, I don't really remember what I was thinking of. I don't know that I was thinking of anything. Honestly, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, that encounter in the bathroom was so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't go there because I wasn't allowed to go there. I don't know. It's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I was thinking about, to tell you the truth. There was I don't know. What I do know, though, is when we got married, I did the right thing. We were doctors. Now we're in Boston. I'm at Harvard. She's a pediatrician. I'm a psychiatrist. Our schedules are crazy. We're on call every third night, blah, 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 blah. So when she was on call, I would be home and I would go for runs in Boston. And then that was the second time of cruising. Mm-hmm. Somebody came up to me and was like, totally approached me, freaked me out again, got terrified. But then I started cheating on her. And I was like, oh my God, okay, like there may be something here. And so probably for 6 months, I was having anonymous sex, in all these, places, and feeling horrible about myself. Like I thought I was multiple personality.
Oh, well, you kind of were in a way. I mean, you were dissociating, and the penis knows what it wants. Yeah, and you were like, okay, I can do this as long as I pretend I'm not doing it.
100%. That's right. And so at some point I was like,
can I just say that knowing you the way I know you, and knowing how much integrity means to you, that must have been so painful.
It was so horrible to be bad in that way. Mm-hmm. I am not a cheating person.
Well, and you also were like, lay it all on the table. This is who I am. And to have that part.
I couldn't no, it wasn't, Tammy. It wasn't this is who I am. It was this is a secret.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because the person I know today is like, this is who I am. Like you are right in this moment. So to be at that time of your life and have this strategy of like, I'm just going to pretend it's not happening must have been so painful.
I would have lost everything. I grew up in a conservative family. Mm-hmm. I went to Boston. I didn't have contact with my parents for 7 years. Mm-hmm. Okay, while I was processing my trauma. So it was horrible. It was horrible to be that person and to live that lie.
Were you in therapy then?
I started therapy then,
Yeah, that's
I was
what got
in therapy,
you in.
Totally. Like we started unpacking my trauma. I was like, holy crap. I started telling my parents about it. They could not hear a sound of it. You horrible person. What are you doing? You're destroying the family, blah, 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 blah. So telling them about my trauma history and then having sex with men. Are you kidding me? No way. I would have lost everything. I knew that. Mm-hmm. So that's partly why it was I knew, like, no way.
But they came around.
It took them a long time. 7 years of no contact.
It's a long time.
It's a long time. Mm-hmm. But they did come around. Yeah, they did. Mm-hmm. Both my mom and my dad. It's fascinating. My mom was like, when I came out, told my brother, who's so close, him and I are so close, told my brother 2 years later, I told my parents. And the first thing that this is on the phone because I haven't seen them. My dad's like, my mom's like, it's my fault. We were too close. I did it. Right. And my dad was like, when you were in therapy, they said what if Frankie was a hairdresser someday? Would you mind? That is what the fucking therapist said back in the day.
God,
What
so
if Frankie, this
stereotypical.
is what they said to him, what if Frankie became a hairdresser someday? How would you feel about that? And my dad was like, I would be okay with that as long as he's happy. So that's what my dad said when I came out. He's like, they asked me if you, he's like, I don't care as long as you're happy. And I'm like, really? So like my dad, who was brutal to me in a lot of ways, was kind of better with my coming out than my mom was. She like blamed herself. I mean, so.
Your dad was prepared in a way.
He was
with a
like, they told me you'd be a hairdresser, Frank.
They must have been thrilled
That's
you were a
code.
doctor.
I know. They were
Right?
happy
I mean,
at
the
least you're a
Harvard
doctor.
Right?
Come on
Exactly.
now.
That's so funny.
Isn't that crazy?
I mean, you worked so hard in your life. How could they not be proud of you? I mean, you can't really escalate any higher in your life. What else?
But here's the other thing. So
What else is there?
you
Frank?
think this is the to be loved. Like what else?
what else?
How could there possibly
There's
be more
more?
Frank Anderson? So I'm named after my uncle, who's Uncle Frank.
Mhm.
He was a doctor.
Mhm.
My dad flunked out of medical school,
Mm.
pre-med. So he becomes a pharmacist,
Mhm.
secondary according to the law. So then his son,
Mhm.
who he beats,
Mhm.
becomes a doctor
Mhm.
and surpasses what he couldn't do.
Mhm.
That was a whole nother
Mhm.
chapter of my life. Is like I was terrified to tell him.
Mm.
So on one hand, I was striving for his love
Mhm.
and then terrified he was going to kill me if I succeeded.
Mhm.
I'm still struggling with that today.
Mhm.
So crazy.
I don't think it's crazy. I think sometimes people don't realize when you've had a traumatic childhood how scary it is to bypass your parents because there's an
Yeah.
underlying threat of I want you to do good, but I don't want you to be better than me.
100%.
Because it's scary to do
Yeah.
that. It is scary.
Yeah. So every time I elevate, I get terrified. You know,
Yeah.
every time I elevate, I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. It's happening now as I move to LA.
Yeah.
I love it here. And then I've got this voice that's like, you don't deserve this. This is bad. This is dangerous. This is horrible. You made a mistake. So at least I have enough awareness of that now that like, oh my gosh, I'm here. This is amazing. I've
Mhm.
worked at this for so long. And
Mhm. But then
voice-
do you compensate for that? I'm just talking from my own experience. Do you compensate for that feeling of, you don't deserve this, you shouldn't be doing this? Compensate by then working harder,
Not
being more
any-
successful?
How many more
don't.
books
That-
can
yeah,
Frank
we're
write?
gonna-
Writing another book, Frank?
We're-
Just asking. I mean, not that this is your therapy session, but I'm just saying.
Now we're going to change chairs, Tammy. Okay, now we're going to change
I'm
chairs.
just wondering because you do have,
Yeah, but I don't do it for those reasons
Okay.
anymore. I
That's fair.
don't. I watch it. I'm aware of it. It's
Mhm.
there, but it doesn't drive me anymore.
Mm.
And what drives me is my purpose,
Mhm.
not my pain.
Mhm.
Now I want to bring trauma healing to the world.
Mhm.
That's what drives me.
Mhm.
It's a different kind of energy.
Mhm.
So I'm grateful. I know it's there,
Mhm.
but it's not making the decision. I'm making more thoughtful decisions now
Mhm.
than I used to make, like driven decisions.
Mhm.
So there is a shift for me now. Am I
Yeah.
great at it? No.
Mhm. But you have a mission.
I do have a mission.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that happened to me. Like I told you, the month after I wrote Transcending Trauma, I got they're saying write a memoir. But the day the book got published, I went out for a run and I heard voices. Like I really got a message. You are to bring trauma healing to the world. I was like, what the hell? What? Hell, do you have the right person? Like, really? Me? Like I did not even understand what that meant at that time. I had no clue. And here I am.
Mhm.
In that purpose.
So what does that mean to you today?
It's a great question. This is so much bigger than me.
Mhm.
This is not my mission.
Mhm.
I am a messenger of Source, God, which feels really good. Doctors, you're told you're in charge and it's your responsibility. I don't feel that anymore. This is not mine and this is not my responsibility. But the world is ailing. The world's in a lot of pain. I had this energy session recently because there's one of my mentors is being really cruel to me right now. And my therapist was like, don't you want to fight back? Aren't you angry? And I just was like, hold on a minute. I tapped into God's energy. Like, am I supposed to fight back? Is that what you want me to do?
But you called him your mentor.
A mentor in life, yes. A mentor in my life is kind of being nasty and mean. And then I check with God, I check with source. Like, what am I supposed to do? My therapist wants me to be mean back to him. Like, I grew up in violence. I don't want to be violent. And when I check in with source, he's weeping. And it was a he, for whatever reason, for whatever that is. He was weeping. He's like, I am in so much pain because of what is happening on earth right now. Like, it was just such a powerful, like, and I was just like, okay, like, I'm not going to fight, and I'm going to help heal the pain because there's so much pain. Now, am I the one to do it? Hell no. Am I one of the people? Yes.
Yeah.
Did your all this trauma, or however you want to define it, did it come out physically in how so many people have physical symptoms of their trauma?
Yeah. Well, for a long time, I was cut off from it all, and I was just smart. Now my work has changed pretty dramatically. Like you said, I'm this big IFS person. I'm really not only about IFS anymore. It can be very mentalizing, and you get stuck in your head with all the different parts of you. It's the way the internal family systems model work. I do so much more work in the body now. And my body and everybody's body is where I go much sooner when I'm doing this work than I ever did before. I'm like, therapists talk about stuff. I'm like, it's a waste of time. You'll have to shift into your body.
Well, I don't think it's a total waste of time.
But
it has to be integrated into the somatic. I totally agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, well, and this is where I'm at, Tammy. It's interesting because I'm like, shut up, stop telling me your story. Like, we need to go what's happening. We need to be with what's in your body. Does the thoughts, feelings, and physical sensations all together matter? 100%. So I've shifted a lot. Like, I don't have it anymore, interestingly enough. I've had asthma for many, many years. And it was the not speaking my truth. It was not speaking up. I would cough and cough and cough. And maybe I'll get my asthma again, but I haven't had it.
Not in California.
I think it'll be much better here.
This is what my allergist said.
Here.
That's
right.
exactly, my allergist
There's no
said
mold
that.
here.
That's right.
Exactly.
It's gonna be much better for you.
And I'm speaking my truth. Speaking my truth in a way that I've never done that before. So, yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about the IFS? I mean, this whole internal family system, because I'm new to it.
Yeah. Internal family systems is a really popular model of therapy right now. And it's gotten popular because of Bessel van der Kolk's book, The Body Keeps the Score. One of the chapters was about internal family systems. Dick Schwartz is the founding member of that. And it's this model. It's like, if anybody knows Inside Out movie, right? The different parts: joy, sadness, fear, anger, and disgust. We all have different parts of us. They're normal. It's not pathological. And these parts hold different things for us. They hold pain of trauma, and they take on the job and the role of protection. And all of our symptoms, our drinking, our yelling, our over-exercising, our overworking, are protective mechanisms for our trauma. So there's a way that we shift the focus of attention from talking to going inside in relating with these parts and healing the chasm that's created as a result of trauma. Because with trauma, there's a divide between our self or our soul and the parts that endure the trauma. So we repair those relationships while we're releasing the trauma that people carry, which doesn't belong to them in the first place. So it's a whole way of working that's very powerful. And I'm really in the process of expanding it in the work that I've done over the years. And I'm super excited about bringing somatics in, bringing the body in, bringing EFT in, bringing memory processing, all the things that are important.
What's EFT?
Yeah, emotion-focused therapy. Sue Johnson talks about this kind of emotional, maybe more attachment-focused kinds of therapy. All these trauma therapies have two to 3 to 4 letters. ABC, EFT, EMDR, it's all this.
Mine is IRT, integrative
IRT,
relationship therapy.
Exactly. So
Mine's STI.
there you go.
Right, exactly.
It's so great. I love that.
Join you guys.
That's exactly
I got
right.
a couple.
But
NSVD.
they work on all the same stuff. You work on the same neurobiological dysregulation from a different vantage point. And my next chapter, besides bringing trauma healing to the world, is integrating models of trauma therapy for therapists, because there are all these guru model makers, and it's time to put it all together. And that's the piece that I'm doing for clinicians, separate from bringing trauma healing to the world for the general public.
Which I think is important. My integrative relationship therapy is bringing all the sort of models of couples therapy together, and just take what you need.
Yeah.
See what happens in the room with people.
100%. Yeah.
When we're talking about like somatic therapy or listening to your body, we're going to ask you a question that you you don't have to answer if you don't want.
I love the permissive-ness that you're giving me.
I know.
If your penis could talk, what would it say?
Oh my gosh.
Just right in this moment. It doesn't have to be.
No, I'm listening
in
to
this
it.
second.
Hold
You're
on.
listening. Okay, it's talking. Okay,
It's got a lot
give
to
it some
say.
space.
This could be long.
It's gonna take
How
a
much
while.
time do you have? Wow. Oh, fuck, man. This is like nobody's ever asked me that.
It's not something you normally get asked on a podcast.
Nobody's ever asked me, and I've never asked him before.
We're welcoming into the room.
He's like, it's been really hard for me. Not in that way. Okay.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. Like, do you know how hard it is to have this kind of passion and to have been so disconnected for so many years?
Aw.
So that's what he's saying. He's got this like, I hold some of that trauma because I have been split off for so many years. And do you know how hard that is to have experienced that? Because this is what's bizarre. I'm a very passionate sexual person.
Yeah.
And I've had this massive disconnect for half my life.
If you want to speak about it, I'm curious how you transitioned sexually with someone that you trusted and cared about. How was that sort of through the
So
internet?
great. Like, it's so interesting. So I was lucky enough to live in Massachusetts at the time. And the reason I say that is that P-Town is there, Provincetown. Okay. So as I came out, got divorced, used to go to the South End, which is the gay ghetto in Boston, and get Bay Windows, which was the gay newspaper. I'm like, how do you do gay? Like, how do you do gay? I went to lectures and I'm like, everybody here is gay. Like, I can't believe it. Like, I had no clue. And then a friend of mine who was working at a mental health center said, let's go to Provincetown for the weekend, blah, blah, blah. And then I got exposed to this world of freedom. It was unbelievable, so powerful. I rented a seasonal apartment for the summer.
Forget the weekend. You're there for
I
Airbnb.
really did. No, and you know what happened? I rented a place for the season, and when that season ended, I never cried so much my whole life. And then I had to buy a place. I bought a place there for 6 years because it was the exploration and the freedom to be a sexual being for the first time in my life. And I was 32 years old. And I was having this gay adolescence at 32, which was kind of funny. I was at Harvard.
Yeah.
I was an associate professor at Harvard with, glasses, suits, and a beard. And then I rip the shit off, put on my contacts, my tight shirts and pants, and go to P-Town. Yes,
for the weekend.
Exactly, for the weekend. It was great. Like, talk about compartmentalization. Right. So it was so helpful. And I had a lot of making up to do, but the problem was I was too damn relational. Like, my friends wanted me to be a slut. They're like, come on, man, Frank's here. This is great. We're going to fucking do it. And I just kept getting in relationships, and they got so pissed at me because I just couldn't do that,
Yeah.
But I was sexually free. It takes a while to know who you are in the gay community. Like, what? You have to try on all the stuff just doesn't happen overnight. You know what I mean? So that was really great to have that.
You went in as a bear?
Oh my God.
With the beard.
No, but I was like peeking on the side. You know, you go to the leather, but you
right.
see the otters,
Try
you see the
this.
bears, you say, look at this. You know, yeah, it was so good to be immersed in that. It was so good to be immersed in that. Like gay immersion is
And
so
then you
important.
met your husband there?
I met my husband there. Yeah. And boy, he was not
What's he like?
that.
Just I want to hear what Logan.
Here's the way
Logan?
I'll describe him. No, Michael's Logan's
Michael.
my son. Michael's my husband. When I met him, he was this combination of Martha Stewart and James Dean.
Oh.
He was brooding and just like nurturing and, you know, homemaking. And it was really intriguing to me to have that combination of this brooding, nurturing guy. So I was so drawn to him. And he was so not the Provincetown scene.
Yeah, I can't see him
At all. He went out once a week because he made himself. I'm going out once a week and I'm going to the A house and I'm going to dance because I got to be a social person. Like he's such an introvert. Like, surprise.
Was he trying to meet someone?
He was just like knew that it was good for his mental health. He had to go out once a week.
Yeah.
You know, and so we met and all of our friends were so disappointed in both of us because we just hooked up so separate from sexually. We hooked up just like emotionally, and we'd stay in the house and watch. We were nesting. They're like, you damn lesbians. There you go. Here's the U-Haul. We lost another. Like they were so mad at us. Yeah, get the U-Haul on your first date. Like it was all that shit. Like
started
it really
wearing
was.
Pendletons and Birkenstocks.
And then we're like, well, yeah, right, exactly. And then we're like, we're gonna have children. They're like, get out of here.
Didn't you have chickens first?
We had chickens and children at the same time. Michael was like, you know, that's him. He's like, I want chickens someday. And I'm like, well, I want children someday. Like, chickens and children, let's go. You know?
Did you use your sperm? Tell me how that went.
Yeah, that's great. We found a surrogacy agency. Like that's so difficult for gay men to try to have babies, especially 21 years ago. It was really complicated.
And it's expensive.
So expensive. Oh my God, it was so expensive. We sold our house in P-Town to have children. My son, my oldest, knows that. It's like, sell your house to have a kid. Slavery's illegal. Like, we know that. But you just, like, hello, it wasn't, we weren't buying children, but it's an expensive process, you know.
It's gotten worse.
So we ended up with the surrogacy agency that you just pay for supporting a woman while she does this amazing thing for you. That's really what it is. And, you know, if we're talking about penises and sperm, you don't mix sperm when you're having a baby, right? Sperm compete. So you know this. And so we had to alternate inseminations. Oh. So Michael would alternate, you know, 1 month Michael, 1 month me, 1 month Michael. And it so happened that it was my turn. July 4th, she was in California, flew to California when her kit turned blue. And that was the time that she got pregnant. So it was mine biologically, which is why I took the name Anderson, because that's Michael's name.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I was like,
which is really nice.
Yeah, it's like, if it's going to be my biology, we'll take your name.
Nice.
Kind of like, I want chickens and I want children.
Yeah.
It's been a bargain since the beginning.
It's been a bargain since it's been the beginning.
And now we're moving to California.
Yes, now we're moving to California.
So, Frank, we're going to flip the script for a minute.
Yeah.
And we're going to give you the opportunity. You're in the room with a leading OBGYN person, the vagina whisperer that's probably freaking you out to say it.
You're going to have trauma after talking to me.
and your friend, the sex therapist and relationship therapist. Is there anything you would like to ask us while you have us in the room?
Yeah, I love that. So it's interesting. So I'll say this. My pronouns would be he, she, him, because I really am a third woman. So as much as I hate vaginas, I love women. Okay, I'm sorry that you have them for me, but I'm happy that you have them for you.
Not all women have vaginas.
This is true. Not all women have vaginas. So I feel such like my questions for you both are around, because I worked with so many women that have been violated, like so much, and I relate and identify because of the way I've been violated, and that being a minority, I feel, even though I'm a straight white I was a straight white man. I so identify with marginalized groups. So
Yeah.
I feel so, I identify with all the women that both of you have treated who have been violated sexually. That is my question for you, because we're doing the same work, and we're doing it more in similar ways. You're doing it in slightly different ways as the medical piece. And that would be my question, is like, what's it been like for you both to work with that level of violation with so many women? Because there are many women that you see that have that, I know. That's what I'm curious about.
I mean, it's hard because there's no certain profile of the woman that's violated.
Yeah.
And so certainly I'm in Santa Monica and I see, I don't see as much people of color or lower socioeconomic patients that I know. There's such more obvious or overt violation that goes on, but we see it in all communities, and it's always hard. It's always painful. Because you can feel their pain without any conversation. But I always appreciate those that share that with me. And I can tell, within a pelvic exam, if there's discomfort or, I can tell, and I'll say, have you had a bad past experience that you want to share? And I hear it more than I would like to hear it, but I appreciate it more. And sometimes I'll stop and I'll say, you know what? Let's not do this exam today. Let's just talk. And they appreciate that. And of course, I think the value of therapy is so important if they're not getting it. I think it's just so important in that healing process. So I love to be around people that I feel like I can give an extra hug to, but it's always so painful and upsetting to see it happening, and as often as we do.
Could I ask you another question, since I'm in this chair, and I'll come to you next?
Of course.
Because here's one of the things that was hard for me, Dr. Sherry, when I was in that doctor mode, especially when I was giving medicines, but also doing procedures, I felt perpetrator energy in violating someone, because you are, we're taught as doctors to turn it off because it's in the best service of the patient, and you do all these violating things, cut them and insert things and all this stuff. So have you ever kind of felt or identified with that perpetrator energy as you're like doing a procedure, which is obviously kind of beneficial, but have you ever kind of tapped into that with someone, or no?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And shamefully, yes. I mean, because when you realize it, because maybe you're in a hurry or you have somewhere to be, or you have to pick up your kid from school. I mean, sometimes you have to stop yourself and check in. And it does happen. And
that's right.
I like it when I can recognize it. And I think as I've gotten older and more sensitive to some of these painful experience that patients share with me, I have to do a check on myself. So, but it's always good to be reminded.
Well, thank you for naming that, because it was a struggle for me when I was more like a regular doctor. It was hard to kind of have a trauma history and then be in a quasi,
Well, you're traumatizing someone's body if you're giving them a shot, taking blood, putting
them
a
open,
speculum in their vagina.
Pelvic exam.
That's why. That's partly what I was like. Oh my goodness! I loved in medical school delivering babies. That was like the most joyous thing. And I also know, especially for women with trauma histories, pelvic exams and all the procedures have to be so.
And I mean, to that, it's I like to inform women that they have a choice of speculum sizes. Because there's a smaller one. For more comfort. And I always use a small one anyway. Except for Tammy. She gets the regular.
I thought you gave me the small one.
If you want the larger size.
She told me she always gave me the small one.
I'm joking. But I always use the small one.
She also tells me I have a beautiful, perfect vagina.
She does. She does. It's perfect. But I think it's good for them to know. And then, of course, those that have had trauma or anything that's been violating, or just a bad pelvic in the past. I think it's important to know that there's a smaller speculum that's the size of a regular tampon that is just more comfortable.
Less invasive.
And it doesn't feel as traumatic.
Yes.
So I think that what I would remind people always is to ask, hey, I would really prefer a smaller speculum.
Yeah.
You know,
or even if they don't know that, to let you know that this is scary for me or uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I mean, I have to say, Dr. Sherry is one of the most empathetic, sensitive, humble doctors I've ever been to. I mean, really.
Yeah.
And I know what you're talking about, that sort of experience of, okay,
Right?
I got like 3 minutes, so I'm going to,
You got it. That's right.
That's a little traumatic in and of itself.
Totally.
She's not like that.
Yeah.
So she does have this sort of natural therapeutic part of her that's super sensitive, but not all doctors are like that.
Yes. And we're taught not to be empathic.
Because it's too painful to carry all that.
Because you've got too much to do. You've got to be efficient. You've got to be thinking. If you feel it's going to get in the way of the procedure. Yeah. Like I remember that so clearly.
But also our medical system is so overburdened and broken that that doctor has to see 5 patients in an hour.
That's right.
And so, as you're like, hey, scooch down, how's your period, any problems? No. And then let me just do a PAP. And
you got it.
It's that.
You got it. It is.
So,
Totally.
I mean, it's in part our faults and this horrible system that we've created.
Yep. Yeah. Well, thank you for naming that.
It's great to see a doctor that you don't feel rushed by. Right. Yeah, it's unusual.
What about for you, Tammy? Because I know, I mean, I know you do similar work for sure.
Not as her.
Yeah.
We don't do similar.
But
people keep their clothes on when they come to see me.
We still converse similarly.
Yeah, we converse similar, but
no, but I'm not that. Like, what's it like for you working with trauma survivors? Like, what does that? What happens for you when you're working with, and you work with couples of all the range, right? 2 women, man and woman, all trans, whatever, non-binary. Like, what's been challenging for you around that work, particularly around violation? I guess that's my question.
I think, when we talk about like feeling like you're channeling a mission or like you're supposed to be doing something in the world to help people, I feel like more and more female-bodied humans have all been traumatized in our culture. Yeah. If you've grown up in our culture, you have been hurt by that culture. Yeah. And just in the way that we talk about women, that we've shown women in the media. We were talking before about how we grew up on I Dream of Jeannie, who is this sexy, really cool woman who was locked away in a bottle until her master called her out to serve him. Like, this is how we were trained.
And how popular that show was.
It was popular for me. I loved it.
Yes, I know.
I was probably really turned on by it too. Like this was part of my arousal template.
Rub the bottle.
Yeah, rub the bottle.
It's sort of phallic.
Genie.
Rub the bottle and poof. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Like an ejaculation.
You got it.
And the gay best friend who I mean, wow. When I think about it, and who was the Bewitched? How she
Elizabeth Montgomery.
Yeah,
Elizabeth
she
Montgomery. When Darren came home and she gave him the martini and put his feet up and did
she
all
could
this
just
stuff.
Blink and she was magical and get out of that world.
Yes.
Like this is the world that women have been trained to, to serve and to subjugate themselves to whoever's in power.
You got it.
And what is really frightening to me today is that there's this like regression to that.
Yes.
To the people in power being sexually abusive. And I feel like this is traumatizing to all of us in our culture today. I'm really having a hard time with not talking about that. I feel like it's really a difficult time for all of us, but particularly if you've been like this traumatized person, you either are going into this fight where it's really just triggering you in your relationships and you're arguing a lot, or you're fleeing and putting your head under the pillow and saying, everything's fine. I don't know what you're talking about. Everything's good. Spiritual bypassing. Like everything's groovy. Or you are doing the sort of like fawning thing, like, oh no, I love these people in charge. They're doing a great job. All of those are trauma responses. Yes. And I feel like at this point in time, there's a global healing around femaleness that has to happen in order for us to rise to our power.
I love that, and I so aligned, and I agree. I'll just throw maybe a piece of hope for people around this, and this is part of in the spiritual realm. If I go on social media, which is kind of so traumatizing these days,
Yes, it really
anyways,
is.
right? I just listen to all these spiritual people, and part of what they say, which I really kind of like, is the patriarchy's done. This is the last ditch effort,
The last gasp,
the
hopefully.
last gasp around that, because it's so clear that women, female, need to be in charge and are so much better leaders. And there is, for me, that gives me hope. I just hired a man on my team. Everybody else is a woman. Every organization I work with, all women, because it's just a better way to be. Personally, that's how it feels to me. And so I hold hey, maybe there's this last ditch effort here, and it's just grasping for straws, and this is going to be over. And then finally, we're going to be able to do this differently. That's what I hold.
Well, from your mouth to God's ears.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Is there anything else that you want to leave our listeners with? Anything else that you want to say before we end?
This has been one of the better podcasts by far that I have done.
Good.
I was not, you have these patent answers, boom, boom, boom. This is not what this was. Let me just say that. And I really enjoyed it.
Good.
I really enjoyed talking to you both. And I really hope the listeners can gain something out of, what we've all said. And this is what I've learned from my memoir is people relate and resonate through story. So hopefully some of what I shared, people can resonate. You don't have to have the same exact experience, but you can emotionally resonate with what we talked about. And hopefully that helps move the needle along for somebody else in their own trauma healing.
Yeah.
Well, I hear that you're living very authentically now. You're
Yeah.
in your truth. You're in your integrity.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't hide any parts of yourself today. That really is really for all of us such
Yeah.
a wonderful example of how to live
Mm-hmm.
in who you really are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, Dr. Frank Anderson, thank you for helping us connect more deeply to ourselves. We even had that written out because we knew that you were going to do this. You're making emotional healing not only possible, but powerfully relatable.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you,
you.
Frank. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. So stay healthy, stay safe, stay sexy, and stay educated.
Thanks, everybody. Until next time.